Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you grab your phone, and you see a notification that says, no service, no SIM card. In a panic, you log into your computer, check your bank account, and realize that all your money is gone. This is called a SIM swap attack, and it's a very serious threat.
How did a Maryland woman lose $17,000 even though she had two-factor authentication on all of her accounts?
People in New Orleans says their lives were put on hold after scammers stole their cell phone. The thieves got access to personal information, including a bank account wiped clean. Police are also warning of an increase in a new phone scam. Scammers are now stealing phone numbers with a SIM swap.
Hi, my name is Michael from My Data Removal. We are your trusted partner in protecting your most valuable asset, your data. In our AT&T data breach video, I mentioned SIM swapping in relation to telecom data breaches. Today, we're going to talk more about SIM swapping, where scammers exploit a single vulnerability to steal your identity and drain your savings account. In this video, I'll explain what SIM swapping is, share 2 real-life cases, discuss the role of telecom providers, and give you tips on how you can protect yourself. First, let's understand what SIM swapping is. SIM swapping is supposed to be a very legitimate process to transfer your phone number to a new SIM card. Companies like AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile, they offer this service when you're upgrading your phone or replacing a lost or damaged SIM or switching providers. It's a very common process. But here's the catch. Scammers exploit this process to commit fraud and raid your bank account. In 2022, the FBI reported a surge in SIM swapping scams. Their cybercrime division, IC3, received over 1,600 complaints in 2021 alone, with more than $68 million in losses. So you may be asking, so how do cyber criminals pull this off? Well, let's break it down. Scammers, they start their process by gathering your information online. They get your name and phone number from the dark web, typically after a telecom data breach like the AT&T data breach. You can learn more about that breach in our previous video. They use other sources as well, like data brokers, public records, and social media to supplement the information that they have. So once they have your details, they can impersonate you and contact your mobile carrier. They might claim they need a SIM swap because of a lost SIM card or a phone upgrade. If you set up one-time passcodes, scammers can get this through phishing. For instance, they might call you or message you pretending to be your phone service provider, and they will ask you to enter a security code. That code is actually the one-time passcode sent to your mobile phone to confirm activities on your account. So when you enter it, the scammer then uses it to verify the SIM swap request. Once the swap is successful, the scammers control your phone number. And once they have control of your phone, they can intercept your text messages, your calls, and any messages you received, including security codes needed to access your bank account or any other account associated with that number. So that's the process of a SIM swap attack, and that's how quickly scammers can clean out your entire savings. To understand how much damage this scam can do, let's look into 3 main risks of SIM swap attacks. One of the major risks of a SIM swap attack is unauthorized access. With your phone number, scammers can intercept verification codes and use them to access any account linked to it, whether it's a social media profile or email account. In January of this year, the Twitter account of US Securities and Exchange Commission, known as SEC, was hacked via a SIM swap. The SEC made sure to clarify that the access to the phone number happened through the telecom and not through their systems. What's worse is that scammers can also use these verification codes to reset passwords and completely take over your account. Another risk is financial loss. Scammers can get security codes through SIM swaps. They can access your bank account and withdraw every penny that you have. Even your cryptocurrency isn't safe. I'll share more examples of this later in the video. And the third and final risk is identity theft. With control over your phone number and unauthorized access to your bank, credit card, retirement accounts, scammers can easily commit identity fraud and any other types of frauds that they want to. Take, for example, the notorious grandparent scam. A scammer might use your swapped phone number and an AI voice clone to impersonate you and target your grandparents. They will exploit the emotional vulnerability of your grandparents by claiming that you are in distress and need money. You can learn more about this scam in our previous video. As you can imagine, there's a lot of damage a scammer can do when they control your phone number. Now that you're up to speed on what SIM swapping is, how it operates, and the risks involved, let's look at some real-life stories of some SIM swapping victims. One notable victim of SIM swapping was Amanda Moon. She lost over $46,000. It's unclear how the scammers got her information in the first place, but they did successfully switch her phone number. After the scam, Amanda quickly did the following. First, she called her bank, Chase Bank, and they informed her that her money had been transferred over to Wells Fargo. So, what did she do next? She called Wells Fargo to let them know that money that they have just received was actually her money that was stolen from her Chase Bank account. She also contacted her mobile phone provider, Comcast, to put a hold on her account to prevent any more damage by the scammer. At first, though, both banks refused to return her stolen funds. But Amanda was determined. She went to the Better Business Bureau and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, but both of these agencies really denied her requests. Amanda didn't give up. She asked her attorney friend for help, and her attorney friend then sent a letter to ABC News 7 on her behalf. Eventually, Chase decided to refund the $46,000.
I don't know, I think it was like a cumulative thing, or I don't know what made Chase change their minds. They ended up giving the money back.
All of it.
All of it.
Chase stated in a statement that they refunded the amount in full after reviewing her case. Amanda describes this experience as very distressing.
I had to stop working. I wasn't able to take care of my kids. It was kind of like I was mentally it was very distressing.
To say the least, this is a terrifying ordeal. In another recent case of a SIM swap attack, Jeff Drubman lost over $21,000. It began with an alert from his bank, Bank of America, notifying him of an attempted login and that his account and password had been changed. Drubman tried to call the bank. His phone had no signal.
Call cannot be placed. Call cannot be placed. Call can't go through.
By the time Drubman managed to contact the bank, $21,000 had vanished from his checking account.
It was gone.
They go, oh my God, they've already withdrawn $21,000 from your account. Are you kidding me? That's half of my bank account.
So here's how it happened. Scammers collected Drubman's information, including his name, address, phone number. They then used that information to convince his cell phone provider, Spectrum, to transfer the number to a new device. Finally, the scammers intercepted Drubman's text messages, including the two-factor authentication, and accessed his bank account.
So the text message went not to my phone, went to their phone. So by hijacking my phone, they intercept my text back codes.
Fortunately, the NBC LA News I-team helped Drubman by reaching out to Bank of America. In the end, Bank of America refunded Drubman the stolen $21,000. With these risks and real-life cases of SIM swap attacks in mind, we need to ask, what is the role of our phone providers in preventing these kinds of attacks? What exactly is their responsibility? At its core, phone companies are responsible for stopping SIM swap attacks. Banks also play a role in preventing fraud and refunding these stolen funds. But if scammers can't exploit SIM swapping, then they can't access bank accounts and people won't lose money. Phone providers must protect their customers. This means that they should enhance security measures, educate their customers, and work with regulatory bodies to find effective solutions. But here's the problem though. The rise of SIM swapping scams show that mobile carriers are failing to do their part. Cybercriminals are even soliciting telecom workers to perform SIM swaps for them. One former T-Mobile worker reported receiving a message offering $300 for a SIM swap, and similar offers were made to Verizon employees. A former telecom manager, Jonathan Katz, admitted to accepting $5,000 to perform SIM swap between May 10th and May 20 of 2021. This allows scammers to hijack phone numbers and access accounts, including emails, social media, and crypto wallets. 5 victims across Wyoming, New Jersey, California, and Tennessee were affected. Jonathan Katz will be sentenced in July and faces up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000 or twice the financial gain or loss from the crime. These cases highlight how vulnerable consumers' data that's stored with telecom actually is. What's worse is that telecom providers are frequently breached. Reports show that telecom companies are the 5th most targeted sector by cybercriminals, and telecom data breaches have increased by 50% since 2018. You can learn more about this in our AT&T data breach video. Overall, telecom providers are mainly responsible for preventing these SIM swap attacks and also for protecting their consumers' data. But what exactly should these telecom providers do? Last year, the FCC introduced new rules to protect consumers and their cell phone accounts and urged phone providers to take the necessary steps to prevent these SIM swap attacks from happening. The rules require wireless providers to 1. Use secure methods to authenticate customers before allowing a SIM change. 2. Update these methods annually. 3. Notify customers whenever there's been a SIM change request and offer the option to lock or freeze the account to prevent unauthorized SIM changes. While these new rules make telecom providers more accountable, the FCC gave them the flexibility in how they implement these rules rather than telling them exactly how to do so. Recently, the Alliance for Telecommunication Industry Solutions, also known as ATIS, proposed adopting the self-sovereign identity, known as SSI, as a solution to combat SIM swaps. SSI is a digital identity management concept that allows individuals to control their own identity information. So instead of relying on a centralized authority or intermediary like a government or corporation to verify and store individual data, SSI allows individuals to create, manage, and share their personal information securely and privately to whomever they choose. It says that SSI provides users with cryptographic proof of their identity and ownership for their telephone numbers. In other words, it acts like a digital wallet that reduces the carrier's reliance on traditional identity verification methods used by telecoms. While this is a good idea, it may be costly for phone providers and need more testing to be implemented. SSI is just a proposal, and we're still waiting for a final solution from phone providers to stop these SIM swap attacks. The good news, though, is that there are still things you can do now to protect yourself and your family. The cases we covered earlier show that scammers can easily use two-factor authentication that you receive via text messages to access your account after a SIM swap. So a simple but effective way to protect yourself is by using authentication methods that do not use SMS text messages. This means using authentication apps like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator, which offers more secure authentication options like biometrics, hardware security keys, and security questions. Think about it. If a scammer successfully swipes your phone number, they won't be able to access your account if your two-factor authentication code is protected by either a fingerprint or face recognition. If one of your accounts require codes to be sent to you via SMS text messages, maybe you can use a separate phone number dedicated solely for the kinds of two-factor authentication codes that you'll be receiving. That way, even if a scammer takes control of your main number, they won't be able to intercept your codes. Remember, scammers can get your information like your name and phone number from various sources, including the dark web, data broker sites, and public records. So another way you can protect yourself is by removing your personal information from the internet. Here's how you can do that. You can visit www.mydataremoval.com and you can run a free scan to see where your information is showing up online. You can use the free opt-out guides to manually remove your exposed data. Just follow the steps and refer to the list of data brokers and people search sites that might have your information. So that's all for today. I hope this video helped you understand what SIM swapping is, the risks involved, and the potential damages it can cause. Remember, as long as a telecom provider do not have definitive measures to stop SIM swaps, you are at risk. So stay vigilant and remember the 2 tips I've shared with you in this video. And they are: 1, use more secure ways to receive two-factor authentication, and 2, remove your information from the internet. Now it's your turn. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Have you experienced SIM swaps attack before? And do you think telecom providers should bear more responsibility? Let me know in your comments. Also, please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already, and check out our previous videos. This has been My Data Removal. We are your partner in protecting your most valuable asset, your data. See you in the next video.